Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make completely crisp corners on square cakes, and I'm also going to show you how to do this more of a minimalistic style of buttercream marbling and how to do that on a square. So this is something we have not covered yet, and I'm excited to show you. But before we get to that, I would like to announce that I have rolled out my Edible Arts Academy. I have announced this previously, but I also wanted to announce, since it's New Year's, I want to offer 25% off of all classes through January 14th, 2025. All you have to do is enter Edible Arts code 25 at checkout on my site. I will put a direct link in the description of this video so that you can click right on over to my classes, and I'd love to have you there. We cover everything, guys. Everything from basic frosting to all of my most popular and most modern decorating techniques. So let's get right to the video. So first we're going to do our damming of our cakes. So this one is a 8-inch, a 10-inch, and a 12-inch, I believe is what we did on this wedding cake. This was for an actual order. So we have these are 9-inch pans, I believe. We have the pans that already are square. Some of them, if you get the Wilton pans, they still kind of have these rounded edges. And some of them have more sharp corners. You can see that top layer there has a different pan that actually has really sharp corners. And on all of these, we're adding a strawberry filling. So I'm using a dammed buttercream consistency around the outside, and then doing a thin layer of buttercream and then some of the filling. And then we pop it in the refrigerator to firm up. Now, I did 2 different techniques on how to frost these square cakes. I have the plastic or the plexiglass square. They're not discs, but they're the forms for the 9-inch, but I don't for the other 2 sizes. So if you need to make your own, this is how you can do it. You can just use cake board, cut it to the size you need, give yourself about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and a 1/2 inch on all sides extra for your filling or for your buttercream, to make sure that you have enough room for your buttercream in there. And then I just covered it with some saran wrap and then taped it down. So you will want to do this twice. So you have one for the top and one for the bottom. And I did this for the 10-inch and the 12-inch. I'm going to say 10 and 12 because honestly, this was last fall and I can't remember exactly. So I think it is the 9, maybe it was 9, 12, 14. Anyways, you get the idea. Once they have firmed up in the freezer for at least 10 minutes, then I like to go in and cut off any of those unlevel sides just with a serrated knife. And then, since we only have the certain sizes of the larger sizes of the cake boards, and there's round, you can just simply use your serrated knife and cut those off. And then we're going to go in and do a crumb coat. For square cakes, a hint that I like to share is that do it in multiple coats. Don't try to get it all done in one. There's no way you're going to get those sharp corners. You need them to firm up in between the layers. And I did the same thing for all the cakes. I'm looking at that. That's got to be a 14. Sorry, it's going to drive me nuts if I don't know what it is. So, yeah, we do the crumb coat for each of them. Put them in the freezer. Let them firm up again. And believe me, when you're doing square tiers, you're going to have plenty of time for your other subsequent tiers to firm up in the freezer while you're working on one, because it does take some time. And so for the plexiglass, I put a piece of parchment paper underneath the top one. Now that has been cut about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch smaller than the board itself. So that way it's not getting in your way when you are filling in the buttercream. And I like to make sure that it's level as I go. Just a little helpful hint. And then I like to pack in those edges first. I like to pipe that into the edges first so that you have a good foundation in there. And even these, I am doing in multiple layers. Your first layer, this is the second time and it's chilled in between. The first layer of after your crumb coat, can be a little, it doesn't have to be perfect, because if you put it into your freezer and let it firm up again, your subsequent or your next layer is going to be your smoothing, filling in any gaps, filling in any holes, making sure you got those crisp corners kind of layer. And on those edges, the corners, I like to go from the corner in towards the middle of the straight edge. Does that make sense? So that you're not pulling that buttercream in funny ways. You kind of are avoiding pulling that buttercream from the edge in. You're kind of holding your spatula or your scraper at about a 45, if not smaller degree angle, and just pulling it in, and just so you're just removing the excess. And this is after I have chilled it for the final time. I like to use a small narrow palette knife to kind of score it to remove it. And you start with your bottom first, the bottom of the cake. It's upside down. Take off that bottom board, flip it up right side up, do your top one, and then use a thin layer of buttercream to fill any gaps that will form on the top there. That's kind of inevitable. I don't think I've ever finished a cake without having to go back in and fill in any gaps on the top, because you don't have a whole lot of control on what's going on there, because you're just putting a thick layer of buttercream on there first before you put the board. So it's, yeah, you haven't been able to fine tune it until this point. But it's pretty easy to do, because the fact that it's firmed up as you're working with it, it kind of settles into place. So it's not as difficult as it might appear. And then I'm just using my small scrapers, or my metal ones, my smaller ones, to just do those finishing touches. And with each one, I put them back into the freezer as I'm working on the next tier. I'm going to show you again the same thing, but on this one, I have just the cake boards covered in the plastic wrap. And you can see it's exactly the same technique. And I just kind of covered that bottom part too to make sure that's filled in. Don't worry a whole lot about that, because as you stack your tiers, you're going to be able to kind of fill in those gaps. And this is the finished board, the cake drum on the bottom. I thought that I needed to do gold. Turns out that it needed to be white. So I will show you how I fixed that in a minute here. Now we're going to do the marbling. Our tiers are in the freezer, chilling out, just waiting for the next step of the game. And I'm just using some acetate sheets. I am cutting them a little taller and a little wider than each of the sides. You just measure your height and your width, and they should all be basically the same since it's a square. And there I did my melting of the buttercream to get the intensity of that deep navy that I wanted. But you will need to pop that back into the refrigerator covered in saran wrap so that it doesn't crust over, and so that it thickens up to the consistency that you can use it. In the meantime, I just have all my pieces of acetate laid up on the table, and I'm keeping in mind that I want kind of a continuation of pattern. So I'm trying to make sure that they make sense as they're laid out there. And that's just food coloring that I just used a skewer to do more of the defined lines. And then I'm doing our marbling technique, where you add a little bit of this and a little bit of that, because I had the blush, the ivory, and the navy, and our base color is white. And I wanted it to be more white than the other colors. So that's why I kind of went over the veining with the marbling, then I go back over it with our white. Yeah, so then you're just going to kind of remove the excess so you got a level background. And just bringing out our tier that we're going to attach them to. I had brought it out just a couple minutes before, so there was a little condensation so that I could apply them directly on there. I did alternating sides, keeping in mind again that you want your continuation of your pattern. So you're not going to just pick them up one right after the other. You're going to pick up one, skip the second one, pick up your third one, skip the fourth one, put them on, pop them in your freezer for about 20 minutes, bring it out, remove your acetate, and then we're going to go ahead and remove the extra that's off of the edges, just using a straight edge. And if like that little corner, a little piece came off, that's okay. We're going to go back in and fill that in later. It happens. Don't worry too much about it. And then we got that cut down, so then we're going to put on our other two sides. So it would be the second one and the fourth one. Keeping in mind the continuation, again, I keep saying that continuation of the pattern, just because it kind of gives it that effortless, continuous flow that I think is so unique in a square cake like this. And then we're just removing the extra off the sides again, and then off of the top. And you will find that your patterns line up without having to worry about, when you cut off that extra little 1/4 of an inch, it's okay. And then I went back in and I filled in those gaps. Now, to put our dowels in, I like to use the hard plastic dowels on the outside 4 corners. I think people think that you need more dowels than you actually do in a square cake. You basically need your 4 corners with your sturdiest dowels, and you could use the same ones in the middle if you want to, add 4 or 5 in the middle, or you can use the boba tea straws. Either one is fine. The 4 corners is the most important, and I like to lift up those dowels in the middle so that when I put the next tier down, the weight of the cake pushes them back into the cake. So you push them in, pull them up again, put your next tier on, let that push them back down into place again. And then you don't have to worry about messing your corners or your edges. And I did a dowel down the middle to keep it all secure for transportation. Now I'm just to cover up this board. This was not in my game plan. Once we realized that I made a oopsie doopsie there, I had to fix it. So I'm just cutting strips of white fondant. I just kind of used my strip cutter because I knew I can cut off the extra if I need to. I wasn't too worried about it getting them exactly the right thickness because you just never know. It's easier to cut it off than to not have enough. Then I just brush on some piping gel and lifting up the pieces to place directly on top there. Now you're going to have some extra, so I'm just cutting it off, and I'll show you how I cut off those corners too. So I do opposite sides again. And then I put on the alternating sides, kind of lay one piece on top of the other. You can see that on the corner there. And then I just cut them off at a diagonal. You take the top piece off of one, and then you pull the bottom piece off of the other. And then you have a right angle. Then you can I would leave it sit for maybe 15 minutes before you cut this excess off. I didn't because it was the end of the day and I was getting tired and running out of time. So if you let it sit, you're not having to worry about it stretching and pulling as much as you would. I did have to just kind of use my hands to just kind of push it back where I wanted it to, where I maybe cut too much off or it moved on me while I was cutting it. Fondant is great for that though, because it is flexible somewhat. So you can kind of mess around with it if you need to. And then to put the ribbon around the edges, the bottom of the board, I just used tape, double-sided tape, put it on the corners themselves. Then you don't have to worry about it anywhere else, just on the corners. And now we're just going to add our silver leaf. And since it has been sitting out, there is some condensation. If you don't have condensation on your cake, you can just brush on a little water where you want your silver to stick. Or piping gel, that works too. And I'm just trying to emphasize kind of the veins, kind of going with it, emphasizing the design, I guess. You want to emphasize it without necessarily covering it up. So sometimes I kind of run along where the marble and the white meet. Or if I have a bigger section of marbling, I can kind of add it along the deeper color like I'm doing right there. And I like to use a combination of my fan brush, a soft bristle brush, and then sometimes I'll even use tweezers. I kind of change it up as I go, depending on how it's going for me. No cake is ever exactly the same. You kind of just have to be flexible and let it figure itself out. Now this cake did not have any flowers on it, so this one is more of a concentration on the design itself. Not necessarily how you would add floral, but you could add whatever kind of floral you want, whatever kind of accent you want, a topper, doesn't matter. It's up to you and the customer. So I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something, and hope to see you at one of my classes, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.